Welcome to Dark Days Radio presents Iron Kingdoms RPG Second Edition. So this is not the 5e D&D based one. I'm one of the regular hosts, Chris, and I'm joined by Mike.
Hey.
We're joined by Chris, John.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We're joined by Ben.
Hi, everyone.
And we have a new player. We have Ian.
Hello.
Woo! So, Ian, you've been on Darker Days Radio before because we did a post-mortem chat about World of Darkness, Enlightenment in Blood, which was in Berlin 4 years ago.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, basically, 4 years ago. Wow, that was a long time ago.
I'm living there now.
And now you're back in Berlin. You've moved there, which is cool. Excellent. So we will get into your character introduction momentarily because we will wrap up the very tail bit of this story. So last time there was a lot of shenanigans going on this boat, on this steamboat, heading up the river towards Corvus. You're taking with you the possessed steamjack, which has the soul of Bowden Heightley trapped within. You also have on your person translations of the Librum Mechanecrum. I believe that's the one. Yep. And there's been swarms of undead ravens. There's been people killed who are helping you, transport this steamjack. You've had seemingly assassins who can make their pistol shot go quiet, so clearly they're a gun mage. You've also fought against another gun mage. Maybe they are the assassin who was struck, or they were dodging out of the way of a gas grenade, a special gas grenade pen, which Zacharias Zinfandel threw at him. And you have now, with all of this shenanigans, you've now clamped in irons the Morrowan priest Galen Reach, who is also a member of the Order of Illumination, because you have too many suspicions about him. It's late. It's late night. Is it late night or is it early? I can't remember. You had late night.
It was early evening. Cause we just had tea. Evening meal.
It's early evening, and you are on the main deck with Galen Reach clamped in irons. Clamped.
I think we were in our cabin.
Oh no, you're in your cabin. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You've got Galen Reach clamped with one part of the shackles, and those shackles are attached to a certain burly trollkin wearing a top hat, chomping a cigar, who's not taking any shit.
Bowler hat, sorry. Not fancy enough for a top hat.
Top hat would be great though. Galen Reach is like, what are you doing? Why?
I have a question for you, Chris. This is quite an important.
Go on,
one,
yeah.
Right. This is something you may have told us, but I think because of stuff going on, we may not pay very much attention to what you said at the time. And now I'm trying to figure out what happened. When we met Galen Reach, because he wasn't with us originally, we met him to go on the ship back.
Yeah.
When we met him, did he appear like? How did he actually turn up? Did he turn up going like, "Hi, by the way, guys, I'm from the Order of Illumination. I'm here to meet you and take you back up north"? Was he with any of the local priests of Morrow at the time?
No, he wasn't with any of the local priests.
So he popped up by himself, basically, and said, "Guys, I'm here to pick you up. I'm Bob. Here. I am with my special paperwork saying I'm an Order of Illumination priest." Or
that would be correct. Yeah.
With my two bodyguards as well. Let's not forget them.
Yeah, well then, right. Okay, so yeah, because he'd just been saying because Bragg had obviously clamped him. And they kind of, "You're not fucking going anywhere, mate, till we sort this out." I think was pretty much the words used.
I think they are the exact words I used actually.
So I'm going to. So Allender, obviously, we've all been crammed in this thing with this back and forth going on. Allender goes very quiet for a moment. Looks carefully at Galen and goes, So, let me guess. The real Galen Reach has been dead for some time.
Why would you say such a thing? You once more accused me of being. I don't know.
Wait, now, you see, here's the thing, right? You turned up with your hirelings, who are now both dead, with basically your say-so that you're from the Order of Illumination. Or we were expecting someone from the Order of Illumination, but we'd never met Galen Reach before. So tell me, when we take you in irons to Father Dumas in Corvus, are any of the Order there going to be able to actually vouch that you are Galen Reach? Or are they going to look at you and go, no, the chap we remember looks rather different?
Of course they will.
Thing.
Of course I'm a member of the...
We have the paperwork from Solomon, who was out to get you. And that paperwork indicates that you are a wanted gun mage, which is very convenient.
Clearly,
we are looking for a gun
I
mage.
admit the similarity is there, but this is clearly a younger man. I mean, look at me.
Yes, well, perhaps it is from a time that you were a younger man, but let's go further than that. You told us you feared that Solomon was after you, and despite that, you specifically
I believe he was an agent of the Thamarites.
Went into a situation that would goad him into attacking you, with your belief. You are not the scared little man you were pretending to be, are you? You walked up onto that deck knowing full well there was a gun mage ready to try and kill you.
That's absurd. I was simply...
No, it's not absurd. We told you, and you did it anyway.
Can't argue with that logic. Well, he's already in irons.
What was in that case? The case was that's how you got those bastarding ravens in the first place, wasn't it? They didn't get flown in through the window. There was never a remote necromancer. It was you bringing the damn things in the first place.
Could I get the glass bag out, Finch?
Sorry?
Well, actually, I've got this bag, and in it is 3 bottles. Right now, the bottles are in completely good, mostly good condition. But 5 minutes, and I can have a bag of glass powder. Now, I don't think the good priest here really knows what that'll do to his eyes and his nose and his lungs when I begin to rub it in and really let it do its work. But, well... he won't just look like an older version of the man in the picture. He'll look nothing like it because he'll literally have no face left. So, just say the word, Finch, and this problem goes away forever. And Bragg looks down on the elderly priest.
I have one question. The only thing in all this that is not accounted for is where your magelock gun is. But that's not evidence that you didn't do it. That is simply a missing piece.
I'm no gun mage. I'm simply a priest. This is my heart. You were doing me a bad turn here.
It would be awfully convenient if you had a heart attack for our sakes, to be honest. So please carry on with that.
Yeah, we are all absolutely fine.
I am
dead right now.
Yeah, I am tired of your pretenses at weakness and tiredness
this
whole time.
You hear the steam whistle on the top deck sound, which is normally because that's normally sounds as a boat is getting closer to some docks.
Captain had also said he wanted to talk to us, didn't he? He said the guy brought a message. The cabin boy brought a really weird message that we were like, "Is the cabin boy being mind controlled?" About wanting to talk to the captain sometime soon, but I can't remember what the timing was about that. Okay. Anders Finch's current internal calculus is: if I shoot him, am I going to go to jail? If not, I'm going to shoot him. But I think I might be in for it if I just randomly execute the guy.
Is that really an if or more a when sort of question?
Well.
And also, Finch, it's worth remembering that the river hides all sins.
Yes, it's
Kato's
true.
the only one here who's like legitimately confused. Where Kato's like, "Wait, he was the gun mage the whole time."
Yes.
We're we're not sure yet, actually.
Oh no, I'm pretty
It's
certain.
what we're establishing.
I mean,
So-
I think we could just put a gag on him and bring him to the church, and they'll sort it out.
What are you gonna do then? Are you gonna wait? Are you just gonna take him up on deck and?
Well, I'm gonna see if my intimidation tactic from a bag of glass to the face is gonna
Oh, okay.
convince him
sure.
to begin, because I'm gonna be rolling 3d6 for that and adding an obscene amount. So let's go with that.
What's that
A
versus?
bottle is only a bludgeoning weapon for 1 round, after which it's a slashing weapon.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. So it's intimidation. My intimidation is 8, and I have hulking presence, which gives me +1 dice to intimidation checks using physicality.
And that's versus his what? Let me just check.
Willpower.
I think it's his willpower. Yeah.
Let me see. Intimidation rolls.
So I don't drop one of these dice, do I? I just take all 3.
Yeah, the target number is target stat plus intimidation total is lower by 3 or more than the intimidating character. So it's a general skill, so using your strength. So it's his target stat, which is that plus intimidation total. So what's your let me just get this right. When you do this, make a roll. Add your character's intimidation level. The stat used for the intimidation roll should reflect the method. If the character is threatening grievous bodily harm, the target number is determined by the difference between the selected stat plus intimidation level of the two parties. Okay, so what's your total of your intimidation plus your strength?
That would be 10.
Okay,
Oh no, strength 9. Sorry.
9.
Strength is 9.
There we are.
So yeah, it's an 11 or more. It's an 11 or more.
11
To
or more.
to
Okay,
succeed.
so when I get a 20, any benefits for having 9 points higher than that?
Yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
This is the second time, Ian, the bag of glass has been used on people that have.
Or
they've
not
come-
used, in fact.
Oh well,
threatened.
not used, but threatened.
Yeah, threat of bag of glass. Yeah,
Bag
that's
of
pretty
glass.
terrifying.
It's a. I mean, it doesn't just mess up your face. It does all your breathing abilities, your nose, your lungs, your throat. It's a really nasty way to mess someone up.
And with a 20 intimidate, I think that he kind of piddles himself a little bit.
yeah,
would be my
he
guess.
you loom over him, mostly puffing clouds of cigar smoke into his face, suggestive of what you were going to do, which is grind glass into his face, and you watch him fearfully look at you, and you can see his hand inching within his robes to grabbing for something.
Go on, son. Try it. You
My
might get
hand-
a shot off.
My
but
hand's
you
just
really
sitting
think you're
above my
gonna kill
pistol, by
me?
the way.
He looks around a moment more and just whispers, Abrison will have you all. And he crunches down on a
Oh,
tooth.
motherfucker.
Oh.
What will have you all?
It was a name. Did he say a name?
Absent?
No,
Abrison.
we had a name. We had a name previously. Who was from the notes from
Yeah.
Baldwin's notes? We had a name, which was Vladislav Abrasim.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
he say Did you say Abrasim?
Yeah, that's correct. Abrison.
All right. So
Okay,
I'm gonna
that's the
say,
name.
hold on here. He crunches down. I'm going to use a feat point because, let's see, Chris, if this is okay. I have my feat points to act or attack before someone else's turn.
So
As he crunches down, Zacharias, being a spy, knows exactly what this is, and he is just going to try to wrench this dude's jaw open and pull out whatever he can. What kind of a roll do you think that'll be? Chris?
Any teeth that come with it, you know.
I'm not sure
Wow.
if this will work, but
It's gonna
let's use the
have
feat
to
point.
be a pure agility roll.
Ooh, I'm not good at that. I am not good at that. How many feat points do we want to use here?
It depends what the whistle on deck was about another vessel coming
I
close,
mean,
basically.
how many cyanide teeth does he have?
If you think
Just
there's
take
a
them all out,
cyanide
you know,
he's
to be
using,
sure.
I mean, from experience, you only really need the one.
Might be
Yeah,
different flavors. You know.
Yes, new
Cherry.
flavor, minty fresh.
Okay, I'm gonna boost this bad boy. Let's just do this.
you're going to need a really high result on this.
This is all my feat points, but we already lost Solomon.
Yeah.
We need somebody for evidence.
I mean, do we? I mean,
Yes.
this guy is not who he said he was.
Yeah.
If we turn up and say here he is, they're going to go, oh yeah, you're right, that isn't Bob. You know.
Yeah, well, they're gonna. I mean, come on, the Order of Illumination. They're gonna torture this guy and get what they can out of him. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
quickly,
Probably mercifully
curious
shoot him
act.
at this point.
His hand shoots out, and I got. Oh man, I got a 14. Not great.
That is certainly not enough to stop this. You begin to
Terrible
kind of squeeze his jaw open, and as you do so, there is foaming green foam coming from his mouth, and you realise this is Iron Kingdoms. This isn't just simple cyanide. This is acidic in nature, and it's already beginning to eat away at the flesh of his cheeks.
Ooh, I pull my hand back.
As he hasn't like nommed some necromech bullshit or something. Like, was it necrotite the stuff that is the evil?
May
fuel,
well
you
could
know?
be necrotite based.
Jesus. Given we've
Well,
had the
we know
undead
how
shit
he's got
been
those
pulling off.
scars.
But I'd suggest just kicking him down onto the floor and let him die at this point.
Yep.
What?
I mean,
I'll just like lift up the thing and just click, and he'll just fall to the floor.
Yeah.
You with Galen Reach dead, it's quite easy for you to check his person. You find, but under his priestly robes is a bandolier filled with mage lock shots with rune shot. You also, of course, discover his mage lock pistol.
Yoink.
And as you there's not much else on his person other than that, and a few notes describing each of you in some detail, and where he was to find Bowden Heightley.
Any notes or any indication where he got those orders and these instructions and things from, or is it just
No, there's nothing
too much to hope for to have
Yeah.
a handy like it was I, Vladislav Abrazim, who you can find conveniently. Yeah.
So
When you have done the job, meet me at our summer home in.
Yes.
obviously you you also have you eventually the boat pulls into dock, and you're able to explain to Captain Hargrave who was behind the murders on the ship, and of course, having pulled into dock, you most probably going to take the body of Galen Reach with you, and you're able to take the possessed steamjack of Bowden Heightley, and you're able to board a train, which then takes you further north to Corvus. Arriving in Corvus, you are met in person by Father Dumas, who himself and members of the Order of Illumination, and also other warrior monks of one of the holy orders of Morrow, escort you and the possessed warjack and the body of Galen Reach, and also the body of Bowden Heightley, which is in a Mechanica-driven kind of ice box, as it were. You take all of this on a boat to the Corvus Cathedral, and from there it's all placed in storage in the catacombs beneath where the Order of Illumination have some storage. And of course, Damas, pays you handsomely for your work.
Ooh, how
How
much?
handsomely is handsomely? I can't remember how much we were supposed to be.
I
owed.
think you were all getting around about 100 gold crowns each, weren't you, for your hard work?
It was something reasonably
Nice.
chunky.
Which of course pays for some of the up. You're gonna have to use at least a quarter of that to pay for the upkeep on your investigation, the office that you keep in the city, and your where you stay and live and other things. So actually,
Don't we get our I can't remember what it's called. The group sheet
you do get some extra stuff as well.
has a special thing, and I can't remember where you find the group sheet now.
It's
in
at
the book.
the end of character creation.
Because our specific one
You
had a
also
cool
get each
thing.
month 100 gold crowns for upkeep and equipment. So that's from other work that you've done that
doing
were mostly
actual
owed
work.
to you.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that 100 will basically cancel the quarter we would have to pay for upkeep and stuff. So, assuming we get it.
Actually, the one thing that you did find on Galen Reach's body was a note written in Cadoran,
Oh, I can read that. What does it say?
which basically reads: "Bring what you get to Satsiana outside Volkovar."
Volkovar. That's not a town I'm
So we're
familiar
gonna have to
with.
find out where the hell that is,
All right. Well,
or
let's go check
who
that.
or what.
Excellent.
Um,
But that is basically the end of that story, and we can move on to the next bit. Obviously, you'll have time to have some, ask any questions to Father Damas or members of the Order of Illumination. You find out
as a
Galen.
reminder,
Yes.
we weren't planning to dob in Necromech Bowden Heightley. We were not planning to say, by
Correct.
the way, he's piloting this. But it was all part of the weirdness, so we kind of have to hand it all over, I think. But
Yeah.
we were not planning to say, Bowden's in there. We're in contact with him. Or by the way, I've got copies of the Libris Necromechanicum. There were many things I think we'd said we were going to leave off the table because we didn't want to screw the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben, you are muted, I think.
We were definitely leaving out the necro tech, but I thought we were informing them about him being inside the thing because he wanted out of it.
Yes,
and
I
the
think
only
we're
way
just
for
not.
him to get out was their help. I thought.
Yeah, I think we're just not saying that he's necessarily conscious and piloting it around because they might have easy ways of doing it without, we were going to be cagey with the information. I think was the plan. Partly because I'm planning to take the text and go to the university and see if I can figure out how to. Which the other thing that was being suggested was that we ask for the Warjack chassis if they're taking the Cortex. Because
Yes.
Bragg was muttering something.
Oh yeah,
about,
they're more than happy to hand over the Warjack to you, and
I think
take
it'll
they
have to go
take
in a shed under a tarp until we figure out fuel.
no, they're the Order of Illumination. Given that the work you've been doing, they are actually quite happy to hand over just a standard Warjack Cortex they have, as part of your payment.
I think it's perfectly reasonable for an investigative company to have a Warjack. To be honest, I think it's completely within our remit.
Would he have like a little like binocular lenses and like a portable investigative
Hat.
kit? And...
No,
Deerstalker.
they have said that the Warjack, which goes by the name of one of the kind of like the Ascendants of Morrow. If I find all their names in the book somewhere, there's a whole list of names. It's gonna be called when I find it.
Steve.
There we go. Religion. No. There's a whole list of them somewhere. Oh, here we go. Its name is Sullivan, who was the patron of healers and battle chaplains. And the advice is, the only way to describe it is it's a little surly. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do what you tell it.
Okay.
So it's Bragg Jr.
Final one. My question I will have for Dumas, apart from this, is: was there ever a Galen Reach? Did
Oh yeah, there was a
this
Galen Reach. He passed away
murder him
a few years ago.
He's replaced. Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, must have
Right.
stolen the ID papers.
I have one piece of question before we move forward. It's about the gun mage equipment that we found.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to claim it if nobody objects to that. What fashion is the gun? Is the gun made in a Cadoran fashion, in a Signarin fashion, or like a Lealese fashion?
It's definitely it's a Lealese style. It's not a double barrel Lealese style though.
I was only asking because it would give me an idea. Like we know obviously he's the turncoat, but it would have given us more about where he's been if he's gotten this gun.
Although,
recently.
I mean, those coins he had on him were from every country, so he could have picked up the gun based on his personal preferences, probably.
Yeah.
The more interesting thing about Galen Reach is that while it's recorded that he died some years ago, the guy is actually Galen Reach, so it seems that he faked his own death.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Right.
even more peculiar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, he's not faking it now.
Well, he's dead now. So.
So, it is a few days later, and Ian, your character, please describe your character. They are walking through the rainy city of Corvus, which is basically Venice, but with Seattle's weather system.
Oh God, that's an awful city to live in. Then.
Yeah, well, it's constantly
Okay.
sinking into the mud.
It probably is like acid rain at this point from.
Oh, there's a lot
All
of
the
smog.
pollution.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Ooh.
pollution.
I'll
so
have
here.
you know, the Finch canneries are entirely eco-friendly.
Excellent.
Our,
Excellent.
So yeah,
Carbon
let's get a good
offsets, yeah.
introduction then, Ian, of your character. What's their name?
Yeah, so the character's name is, see if I can pronounce the whole thing, my goodness. Payden Siodina Demerin. And he is wearing one of those armored long coats against the rain, and my tricone hat as well.
Smiling.
Yeah, yeah. Similar to the pictures that we've been sharing in the group from the that one movie that we don't have the rights to talk about, I don't think. He's got the collar tipped up high, and so it's covering the lower part of his face against the rain. Yeah, let's see, a scabbard of a sword sticking out the slit between the back of the long coat. So that we can get past the other things. Eventually, when he goes someplace where he can take all this ridiculous regalia off, he'll have curly black hair and somewhat scraggly, unkept black beard that's not growing in quite the way it should. So spends most of his time with his face covered anyways. He has hanging about his, well, in a visible way, I assume it hangs like a cross, a holy symbol of Menoth. And in times when, and actually this is a question for you, Chris, I know that the priests of Menoth wear a mask.
Yeah, the Scrutators do, but I think that'll be predominantly the Protectorate that do that because they're ultra orthodox.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
you can
we'll worry about that
I mean,
later.
if you want to wear a mask, you basically, given that you're from the you follow the old faith of annual audit, you clearly might have very different approach to it. Like you might wear, I could quite imagine if you were to wear a mask, it might even just be a half mask that just covers your eyes, and it's quite ornate. Because after all,
right.
Ord is pretty much a pirate kingdom. It's
We're also Spain
have
and
to imagine
Ireland.
something-
Why are we wearing masks? They're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them if they're sure.
It's almost more Venetian mask rather than
Yeah,
massive
exactly.
iron battle
Yeah, with the
blade
nose
mask.
and the filigree on it.
Yeah,
Menoth,
you could easily
known
wear
for having
that.
his huge nose.
Well, yeah, anyway, we'll worry about that later when we have some more time to figure that out. But yeah, there is Payden as a physical description for you.
Yeah, you also from your time in Ord and in the main city, as obviously going to court because you have some level of respect as a holy person, and also because you're basically a musketeer, so you've mostly served in the military in some respect, or as part of like the house guard, and Kato personally because Kato is a trained gun mage who has obviously had military service and is at least a known kind of explorer. Obviously that he moved south when he went freelance, and is a investigator at a certain company. What's the name of the investigations of the
I think
investigator
it might have
office?
been named after me, actually.
Yeah, it's basically just
Finch
Fin-
Investigations.
Finch Investigations.
Finch Investigations.
And
the plaque is a bird flying underneath the words.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, well, that's
Wasn't my
not-
choice. Someone else had it done like that.
I thought Zacharias thought it was so clever.
That's
Also, all lawsuits
Zacharias
are
probably the
addressed.
reason it looked like that.
and the reason
Kato.
you are searching him out is that you were in the service of a Ordic noble, or at least someone that was a noble, but who was trying to kind of stay a bit under the radar.
Just
Because
like the king is.
obviously someone that's who's at least trying to do some business in Corvus, and unfortunately, they were found dead the other night when
My
they went
employer?
out. Yeah, your employer was basically found dead the other night while they went out drinking, even though you said not to. Apparently, they had ideas to go to a certain area of town where where people are loose with their morals, and they turn up dead, and you were informed about this by the City Watch, and their body is currently lying in the city morgue. Of course, you mostly have little trust in the abilities or the cares of the City Watch and the lawmen of this city, and I guess you think you might have a better time searching out an old friend who happens to be part of an investigation company.
Yeah, there's never talk to the police.
Yeah.
Just don't talk to the police.
The-
So yeah, go find your friend to help you for sure.
Yeah, Finch Investigations, you get to by going to the... Yeah, they're not in the most...
They're not in the red light district though.
No, they're not. They're.
Okay.
I imagine
in
the
the pub.
office. I imagine the office is on the third floor, above some shops near the docks. So it's not too expensive to keep operations. And
It's actually the second and a half floor because
Yeah.
it's slowly stinking down.
yeah, it's slowly sinking down. And you have to ascend the stairs outside onto the balcony. And there's a rap on the door, and it's everything you imagine from Sharp or Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's kind of level of wooden building that's barely keeping the rain out. It's a bit leaky in places. The windows are mostly misted up because it's warm inside and it's cold outside. So you rap on the door. Who's going to
I do
open?
want to say before we start opening the door, one more thing for Kato. Since we know each other, we have somewhat of a history. you know this that Payton is a duelist and likes to make a living on the side, taking fighting on somebody's behalf. So if you have dueling culture is a thing, and so as an Ordic, he'll hire his services out for that. So he doesn't typically like to tell people or show people that he has a pistol, but he also definitely has one. And so you being a gun mage, especially, we've had conversations in the past about gun stuff in addition to Ordic things.
Okay.
So
Got it. Sounds like my kind of guy.
Cool. You rap on the window of the door.
Well,
I'm looking at everyone else.
Yeah,
we even
presumably
open?
we're there of a day. It's a rainy day. I imagine we're doing some probably mixed with different things from the admin of the last case we had to deal with.
Yeah,
some
there's
back as we
mostly-
pay for the rent and all that.
Yeah, you're mostly doing admin more than anything. With I can imagine that. Yeah, you're doing the admin. Zacharias is mostly.
No, I am going over heretical necromantic mechanical texts. Someone else is doing the admin.
Zacharias mostly has the ability to write very, very well-written letters to certain people
Yeah,
to
probably.
get them to pay up on debts that are still owed to you.
Oh, there's so many of them.
It's a useful skill.
Bragg,
It's an
I can
essential
imagine, is chain smoking,
Yeah, gotcha.
drinking.
Yep. Bragg's involvement with this is much more field work than it is maintenance of the office. He can carry things and move furniture for people as and when they need it.
It's mostly reading the newspaper, right?
Oh god, yeah.
Looking for leads. yes.
Laughing
Enhancing the ambiance.
heartily at the various scandalous stories that are there.
Have you seen the size of this dog? it's ridiculous.
And he calls
Really
himself a duke.
marvelous. Really marvelous
And-
brag.
Kato is most probably playing with some cards or drinking or cleaning his guns.
He is being incredibly responsible. He is checking out the new mage lock gun that he got while drinking.
Yeah, so you've taken it apart, given it a good clean, getting up to your level. Obviously, it means you've also got
Accidentally
you've now also got two kits to make rune shot with. So you've got one that you can keep at the office and one for field work.
Nice.
You're not like though dual wielding with pistols, are you? So it just means you've got
No.
a spare.
Yeah, but it's good to have
Spare's
a spare
good.
on me. I've also got one of those little wrist things where I can make a pistol pop
Yeah,
out.
you've got
so-
a pop out pistol for when you need something for something a little bit more discreet. Okay, cool.
So
Um,
from the office
Smoothly-
and back.
Smoothly swipe away the when we hear the rapping, the
Yeah.
the heretical necropapers go whoop into a desk.
Yeah. And from the back, you hear Zach yell out, "Bragg, come on, get the door."
We had a discussion about this. I'm not the bloody secretary.
Kato, could you get the door, old chap?
I am at a delicate stage in drinking this glass of scotch.
Oh,
It can go either way. at
let's
this
see
point.
what
Okay.
then. And I'll stand up and throw the paper down and walk over to the door. Who are you?
So, can you describe the person who has opened the
Yeah.
door and shouts, "Who are you?"
Fragate Bragg is a 7-foot 2-inch tall,
Jesus.
450-pound trollkin wearing a massive leather trench coat with sort of banded armor that is sewn in to the sort of the chest and the sort of the vital areas basically. You can see that he underneath that he's wearing very traditional trollkin sort of colours, sort of
tartan.
tartan.
Yeah.
My aphasia, my own heritage as a Scot, my aphasia just removed the word tartan from me. That's how bad that got there. Tartan colours, which are blues and yellows, because Frag is not of a family unit in the troll. He's an independent troll in that regard. He is wearing a bowler hat, which is covering sort of set of spines almost completely. He's got spines on his chin that sort of make out almost sort of mutton chops and leading into a little bit of fuzz on the bottom. He is smoking a huge, thick cigar, which is probably down to about halfway. And his hands are sort of wrapped and bandaged with a sort of a leather sheaths over it, but you can see that the knuckles underneath are just scars. A mass of thick hide scars is sort of the entirety of sort of his finger below, below like the third knuckle sort of thing.
So he's definitely a bruiser. Opens the door like
Yeah.
Oh, a huge one, yeah.
And blue.
And blue, yeah. There's
blue.
Just
Okay.
yeah. I'm a blue Tolkien. And again, there's just this, rather than being like a bruiser in the typical sense of like, Atlas bodybuilder, Bragg is a bruiser in like world's strongest man style bruiser. He has a full keg stomach that gives the illusion of weight when he's actually just, the muscles are so big that he is just round at the stomach.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's terrifying. Thank you.
Just imagine your character like
You
just
fill
turning
the
away.
doorway. Literally
Yeah.
fill it.
Yeah.
Wrong number.
Who are you?
I'm sure we've had this conversation before, Bragg, about clients and greeting them.
Sorry.
Is
One
there
minute.
Is there a plaque or something on the outside that says
Yeah.
French investigations?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Sorry. I've been told about this. I am Fragate Bragg, and you have reached Finch Investigations. Can I help you today?
Excellent.
The smoke just comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. So Siobhan, I keep saying Siobhan. Payton is gotta look up at this tower of blue and violence in front of him, and kind of. Well, let's see. I'm playing a duelist, so he'll try to be as stoic as he can, but he's still got everything covered, and is very happy that everything is covered. So you can't see his jaw open on the inside, and his voice comes through with an accent that I'm not going to try mangling, and says, "Looking for Kato."
Kato, we've got a weird one. And Bragg just leaves the door open and goes and sits back down with the paper.
Kato's gonna stand up, kind of like brush off his like shirt. He's wearing just a shirt and like slacks for now. He's gonna make his way to the door. Upon seeing you, his eyes get wide with delight. He's like, "Payton!"
I'm gonna
Kato, as he's dressed
look
right
either
now,
side before I step in from out the rain.
Kato always looks like he has a little bit of like 5 o'clock shadow to him. He's kind of thin, but he's got like like light brown hair, blue eyes, and you've seen him before. He's usually wearing like leather alchemist armor and a trench coat over it. And then you know that he's usually not anywhere without Clover, his lucky magelock pistol, which is actually still at his hip. And then you see just a thin chain around his neck that goes underneath his shirt, and you know that that's where he keeps his what Menifix is what they're called.
Yeah.
But upon seeing you, like he's like, "Oh, it's great to see you," and he comes forward to give you a hug.
Okay. It's like one of those awkward, you're hugging somebody that doesn't usually hug kind of hugs. So like you come in and hug, and he just sort of stands there for a second, and then like does the one arm on your shoulder.
How you doing?
Kato. Wet. Can I come in?
Oh yeah, sure. Come on in.
Thank you. He steps in and takes the hat off and pours it out a little bit.
Hey,
Opens
guys.
the front.
Guys, you've got to meet this guy. He is incredible. One of my oldest friends. I think owes me 10 gold. Don't really remember how that card game went. But man, Payton?
Target trick shooting probably.
These are the guys.
Yeah, Zacharias walks out of his back desk and locks the door to it as he comes out.
So sort of take a moment to do that, size everybody up quickly in the room. You know count the biceps as you go around and
Sure.
nod.
So, yeah, Zacharias Zinfandel is a very dapperly dressed Lealese nobleman. He has very white clothing, which is not something you usually see in Corvus. His dry cleaning bill is very expensive.
Astronomical.
And yeah, he's got gold trim, purple facings to the coat, and the like. So he's pretty dapperly dressed. And I don't know, it's like dark black hair or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so Finch is probably sat behind the desk in the front room. He looks more or less like you'd expect perhaps a fairly well-to-do clerk or bank scribe to look. You know, he doesn't look lower class, he doesn't look upper class. He looks pretty, dark clothes, the kind that will mask Corvus's stains fairly well. Bit of beard and moustache, fairly well trimmed. Dark hair, but he's lean, but not particularly physically impressive, nor not tiny, but he's it wouldn't stand out much out of a crowd. Stands out probably slightly next to this lot of reprobates because of that. So he was done. Friend of Cato's. Well, would you care for a drink, perhaps?
A small one? Yes, thank you.
Yes, well, we have Cadoran vodka. We have some Corvus liquors. Yes, no, I still have that bottle we got from down south. Or something else.
I
Sort
heard a second ago that Cato was nursing a glass of scotch.
we have some whiskey.
If there's whiskey or scotch nearby, I'll do that. Thank you.
Pour some generously and come over. And also, I think Finch is probably wearing quite, given the weather, it's sort of, sort of waistcoat, the jacket. But when with the coat is hanging on the back of the chair. When I get up to some, people like Payden, who presumably with recent trade, I would say the coat is itself fairly, it's subtly but armored underneath the kind of, to take a hit or two. And this little cane he has propped up against the desk is probably a sword cane. The sword on the desk is probably just a sword. The pistol there's quite a lot of armament in this place. But I'll come over, give you pop a drink down the table.
So he'll undo the rest and the top layer of the coat, and the regular clothes are definitely mud spattered mercenaries, soldiers kind of durable clothing that you might be uncomfortable sleeping in, but you'd be warm in. And the kind of boots that you could walk through a swamp in. So definitely somebody who's accustomed to roughing it outdoors, but except for the very well-maintained weapons that you can see as he opens the coat, because he also has the rapier and a number of knives in places and variety of other business activity adornments. So he'll say thank you for the drink and introduce himself properly. Says I'm are they called father? Do they call priests father?
Father or
Menoth?
brother. You're mostly you're more of a monk than.
I guess some of them have specific titles, but I don't know. It depends if you are one of the specific sub-orders who do specific work.
Well, I wanted to do the judges one that we mentioned, but if those are protectorate specific, then I don't know if I want to do that.
Are they redeemers or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can never remember as well.
I think their thing is in the core, though. I think they're special abilities and stuff. So probably find it fairly easily.
Scrutator.
Yeah,
Scrutator's
Scrutator's like really high up.
Okay. No, I thought it was a job rather than a title. But okay. At any rate, brother, father, appropriate honorific, to be determined later. Payden Seodina, Demarin. Thanks for the drink.
Oh no, it's fine. Friend of Cato's is welcome here.
What are you doing here?
Well, you're running a business, right? I heard.
Yes,
something about
I am
investigations.
This is my investigations. As a gift, I gave my last name to the gentleman over there, so that's why he's called Finch. That's how this works.
I thought we were all equal partners.
Yes, we are all equal partners, Bragg. That is correct.
That's what I thought.
Bragg, does it look like I can give anyone a last name?
Well, there's a body in the morgue, and it owes me money.
Should be really easy to beat it out of him then. He's dead.
It's an interesting way to start a conversation, I know, but my employer went where he wasn't supposed to. He was trying to conduct some business here and decided to go and pick a fight in the seedy part of town. And now I have to finish his business and figure out who his next accomplice is, because I still want to get paid. And I figured you're investigators. You might be able to help me track down who killed him.
Sure. Yeah, we have some standard contracts if you want to hire our outfit. Usually we ask for half up front, half at the end. It's our typical process.
He's an
I
old
understand
buddy.
you're in a bit of a what was that?
He's an old buddy.
Which means he pays old buddy rates. He still pays.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I understand you're in a tough position here, but we are a business, so I mean,
I
first
wouldn't
off,
dream
like,
of imposing or asking for favors by complete strangers. I understand you have a business to run.
yeah. I mean, how if you don't mind me asking, business is business, numbers are numbers. Like, how much did he owe you?
I don't know, Chris. What was my what was I
Um,
helping him do in Corvus?
You were basically acting as a bodyguard while he was traveling around from Corvus, and perhaps more than likely was going to
Great
travel.
bodyguard.
Yeah, right. Possibly onwards to yeah. Well, he went out against your advice. You'd mostly be heading on from Corvus west to Lale. Up the river.
Good spot.
So, yeah, that was basically your job. The person that's dead, their name is Tomas. Let's think of a good name. Barbatos. And yes, they're a they're a mid-level kind of nobility merchant family from Ord. There's a lot of merchant families in Ord because they're like that. Money speaks louder than blood. Something which I'm sure Zacharias would find foul.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't like new money, new gentry.
But money's money, Chris. How
Money's
much
money when you're Lale.
Was paid in, how much money was paid and owed?
The money owed for the entire journey, the entire round trip, would have paid out in the order of about 500 gold crowns.
Shit, we should become bodyguards, everyone. That's pretty good money.
You don't
It's
want
hard,
it.
apparently.
Sadly,
it's bad money for getting shot at a lot.
yeah. Sadly, you only get paid if they live. Usually.
Well, that's an interesting
So,
question. The Barbatoses clearly are fairly well furnished in the finance department. I imagine they themselves might be quite grateful to see the end of one of their scions investigated correctly as well.
Yes. Well, and we should also. There is still a dead person to consider, and so returning his body to his family might be something that I would want to do in the future.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to return
Nice.
the body. Yeah.
It's on ice in the city morgue right now. But
Just
I
better keep
suspect
it there. Bodies in
Yeah.
Corvus go unpleasant fairly fast. It's very damp around here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I mean I'm sure we can help out here. We can find a mutual way to get payment for our team. We have very reasonable rates. So we can figure that out later off session. But it's interesting that you bring up that we have a body in the morgue. None of us are very good at forensic science. It's been kind of a problem lately.
It's almost like
It depends how precise the forensics required are. Certainly.
Indeed. So,
Well, I know what part of town he was going to, and I have a good idea of what his tastes were like. So we
Oh
might be
yeah,
able to
you know
go
what
and
his tastes are
investigate.
like.
yeah.
All right. Who did he?
Yeah.
Who did he piss off, and who did he pick a fight with?
Exactly.
And whereabouts in town was he going?
Would it be useful to see the body first, just to
It would.
clarify? Was he stabbed to death? Was he shot? Was he
Indeed. I am
fingers
thinking.
broken?
I am thinking that Bragg here knows a lot about the different movers and shakers here in the city, especially on the seedier side of things. So he might be a great person for you to team up with Payton. And Kato, you're already friends with Payton here, so it might be great for you to go along as well. And Finch and I, maybe we should go see the body. And if we need to find some outside resources, to help out with any forensic science, I'm sure we can figure that out as well.
Yes.
And then maybe we can reconvene here after we get some information.
Or
So how?
we meet at the Bargeman's Sucker again.
The what? The what? Sorry, your thick
Bargeman's
accent.
Sucker.
The Bargeman's Sucker, the inn.
Oh, yes, that place. Sorry, your thick troll accent sometimes, and the Lalies. Yes, that's a great idea, Bragg. Yeah, why don't we meet for a meal afterwards?
So, quick question on scale and numbers. Is 10 gold pieces a lot of money or a little bit of money in this setting?
It's not
it's
that
a-
much.
It'll buy you some drinks and meal and stuff like that, but at the same time it won't buy you a gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can get an idea of what stuff it can buy.
Well, I mean,
quality
I'm just trying to figure out
feed
if I have enough
yourself-
coin on my person to leave a down payment or not, and I don't, and so I'm gonna instead go the route of promises from a priest in the
Yeah.
hopes that
10 coins will pay for your food for a week. Decent.
Yeah.
Not like quality stuff, but reasonable stuff. So it's not the kind of thing we'd worry about. It'd be like if you hand over 20 quid as your down payment. We're like,
Right.
okay.
We don't have to worry about price negotiations. I just wanted to set up the
set the expectation for
yeah
later.
the expectations that we want to get money because we're
We're also desperate for work too. So.
that. Well,
No, don't tell them
Kato,
that.
come on.
I'm fine with a fee for finding information and then a share of whatever gets kicked back from the family later.
Also, speak for yourself. I've got plenty of work on right now.
Cool.
He's a boxing
Alright.
guy.
Right.
So,
Set about it then.
Then
let's
we can have
see.
some social catching up with Kato as we settle up our affairs here and get ready to head out. So.
Yeah.
Mainly naming who of our old friends are dead.
Yeah. Right. So those of you heading to the morgue, let me see. I should have a map of Corvus somewhere on my thing. Yeah, there we go. So you will be heading from the waterfront, which is to the northwest of Corvus. So basically, you've got the Dragon's Tongue River comes up and meets the Black River, and then that then heads further north up towards Lale. So you head out from the waterfront where your office is based, and you head whereabouts would it be? I'm trying to think where the worst part of town is, basically.
Most of it is Corvus.
Yeah. You head out to... You head further north into the denser part of the of what would be the Merchants' Quarter, or towards the Merchants' Quarter. And between there and the waterfront, the housing gets incredibly dense. It's not the best part of town. Again, the streets are very narrow. It's almost like it's quite a lot like what they would call streets back in the day in Edinburgh, where they are very fucking narrow and buildings are built 20 stories tall, even leaning in onto each other, and all of that weight is of course pushing down the buildings into the very sodden, marshy earth of Corvus. And you head towards where the local City Watch building is, and in the basement of that will be where they keep bodies of some importance, when they're recovered. And this would be where the body of Barbatos is held. You rap on the door again. It is pissing it down, and it creaks open, and a member of the Corvus City Watch opens it. He just brushes his head and hair a bit, rubs his beard. "Can I help you? Is there some crime that must be attended to?"
Well, we are here to attend to a crime. In fact, it's your lucky day.
Oh, my lucky day, is it really? Well, my lucky day would be if I could win on the next horse race, and then I could certainly spend a good few weeks not working and drown
To be honest, any
myself in
horse
alcohol.
running around Corvus Earth is not long for this Earth itself. Anyway, we're here on behalf of a Master Demerin, who is an employee of someone who has now taken up residence in your mortuary.
Oh, you mean the fop who's down in the basement? Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
need to take a look at him.
Yeah, bit of a weird one. Come on, come in from the wet. Hang your coats
thank
up here if you would like. It gets a bit ripe down there, so and he brings out a little pot, so you've got something to smear under your nose to keep away the stench.
I'll
thank you.
pop open my flask of Cadoran vodka. Next, offer the chap. Get
Oh.
for a swig.
Yeah, Cadoran.
Yeah.
Okay, and takes a
You're
good
going
swig.
into a morgue with a burning liquor in your stomach. This is gonna go so badly.
To be fair, I am the person here closest to being a necromancer.
I'm just
Right
waiting
this
to start
way.
growing up.
Anyway, down this way, he grabs a lantern and, leads you down the cold steps. There is some, it's a bit damp down there as well, and opens up a creaking, rusting steel door. And within, sets down the lantern and then, picks up a splint and then goes about lighting some of the other gas lamps that are around. Before you, there are some large. There are some cabinets to keep bodies in. There's about 4 cabinets there, and then there is a steel table with a body upon it and a sheet thrown over it. I think that's the gentleman you are here about.
Excellent.
His belongings are over there. They've not been touched. He had a fair bit of gold on him, gold crowns on him. Obviously, that would be inappropriate for us to take, given that from his documents, he seems to be some sort of merchant or la-di-da from Ord.
Yes, that sounds about right. Well then, we will get on doing our observation, and we will see what we can learn.
I will be upstairs.
Understandable. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful. Oh, and then pull the sheet back.
Before you, well dressed, as you expect for a Ordic merchant, is the body, and quite clear is that the left-hand side of the chest here has been ripped open.
Oh, does it look like it's been cut or ripped?
Oh, it looks ripped. This is not
yeah.
precise work.
Oh, something got him, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, Finch. You've seen a lot of weird stuff in your days.
I have,
Looks like
yes.
claws, jaws, warjack.
Massive force, certainly. 1 second. So looking over him, I'm presuming I'm not picking up any lingering or after effects or anything magical just off him. He's not under.
No, there's nothing. You can't
effects.
sense anything magical. There's no.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing arcane.
And then I'm going to poke at the wounds and see if they look weird, like rotting wounds, as in out of,
no, they look.
out of scope or burned or.
They look. They look pretty ripped apart by something. Almost. There's quite a few gashes, so it looks like from your initial observation, some sort of clawed appendage.
I don't think this was a jack. It looks like it was something big, powerful. There's nothing particularly marking it as what we would consider, in our line thus far, unnatural. I can't tell much about the assailant, but I mean, honestly, he could have just run into something very large and unpleasant under Corvus. But we'll need to find out where he was found.
Could have been Gatorman,
There are gatemen in there are rumors of gatemen that live in the sewers and undercity of Corvus.
Check his body for bites. It'd be a bit unusual for a gator man to just tear him up and then leave him lying around rather than using him, rather than using the remains.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely understand, Finch. There's many things. I was just spitballing.
I will check the body then for bites if there's nothing. Let's go
Okay.
head to toe.
I think you can make a intelligence plus. I guess it's a perception, isn't it?
There is a detection skill. Perception.
Detection.
Is its own
Sorry,
stat.
yeah, it's detection. Sorry, because you don't have forensic science.
No, I will pop I'll pop a feat point to make it 3 dice.
Yeah, everyone's feat points, remember, are refresh. So you start with 3 feat points at the start of a session.
14.
14. Okay. Yes, it looks like some sort of claw. What you're looking at, though, is where it's gouged into the bone. It just looks too neat.
As it's sort of cut through the bone.
It seems like,
neatly,
yeah,
is it?
it seems like you would be right. A cut.
Sharp.
Yes.
Large and sharp. This doesn't look like a large butcher's weapon used, though. I mean, it looks like it's been gouged. So I would. My current guess is something with exceedingly sharp claws, but also the strength to then rip at this. You know, we're not talking about some
Yeah,
dainty.
shear
This
it.
isn't some dainty fencer with a saber. This is something with severe force behind it. Now, the rest of his body doesn't look like it's been that badly marked, so I don't think it's a gator man. Like, they haven't really roughed the body up that much. They haven't given it a chew or a gnaw, or you know.
No.
And if what the chap is saying, he's got his gold on him. This isn't a mugging.
Yeah. Well, let's check out his belongings a little bit. See what we can find
Yep.
here. All right.
Yeah,
let's see,
you
let's
go.
Check his bag.
You check his belongings. There's about there's about 50 gold. No, let's say there's about something in the order of almost 100 gold crowns worth of coinage in a pouch. There is there's a few notes of banker's drafts that you can use at banks in Corvus and in Lale,
Oh, great.
like you do. Because the Island Kingdoms would definitely have quite a well put together banking system.
Yes,
That's for
yeah,
certain.
it should. Yep.
There's almost like there's a few pamphlets like guides to Corvus, guides to
My
certain
goodness.
places in like
Yeah.
in Lale.
Top 10 places to get boozed up in Corvus.
There's a deck of cards, but as you're looking at them, Zacharias, you realise that wherever these cards are bought from, they are certainly not the type of cards you would want to use in good company. They are rather naughty.
Oh, yeah.
My word, sir.
Okay.
Oh man.
Scandalous cards. And then there's a pocket watch, and there's a bit of like a small ampule of perfume. Anything like the typical thing you would expect on any good merchant or noble.
In the standard Corvus ecology, this body would have been stripped of these riches in minutes, if not seconds. So, however he was done in, the circumstances are certainly unusual.
Did I miss his boots on him?
Oh yeah, let's check his boots.
Yeah.
Ooh. Are his boots muddy? Are they
Yeah.
clean?
It's Corvus, they're probably muddy.
Well, that could be the thing that stands out here.
They are actually clean.
See, Zacharias remembers one time Cato said to him, "Just check the boots. Come on, good clues there." And he's like, "Oh, I need to do that."
I said that right now.
Yeah,
Well,
well, you're not.
your
you're not
voice
with
seemed to
us.
echo in
You're
his
not- yeah,
head.
You're not. I don't think you're with us right now, right?
Oh, was I
No,
not?
he's not.
Oh,
No, I
no.
think the rest of you were like
Pete and the
scouting
other
around town.
Yeah.
Sorry, got twisted around. Sorry.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Clean boots. Kind of strange, but means he wasn't in the sewers, wasn't dragged down to the sewers.
No, but he might have
Trudging
been
around
down
so
in one
much?
of the The less sort of, I mean, there are chunks of the city are excavated down there. There's all sorts of pubs
There are
and dens.
there are entire buildings which have sunk into the
Oh, we lost somebody.
into
Seeing.
Corvus. Yeah. We'll wait a moment.
He's vanished into the void.
We'll just go to a brief break while we wait for Ian.
Oh wait, stop. Just kidding.
We're back. Right. Okay. So Zacharias and Finch have performed their initial investigation of the body in the morgue. So we cut to Cato and Peyton and Bragg in the streets of Corvus, in the very rundown red light kind of district. There are saloons, and there are various dodgy shops and traders and people on the streets and who are dealing in all kinds of nefarious wares. You have to keep a keen eye out because obviously there are pickpockets and worse out there.
Yeah. Bragg, though, whilst directing Cato and Payden, Cato and Payden, whilst directing them, will actually be at the sort of like 2 steps behind them, with his hands in his pockets, and he basically already has his knuckle dusters on his fingers, and he's basically watching over them, very much looming over the pair of them, keeping an eye out to make sure that no, because Bragg has a reputation around here, I'm sure, because he has a reputation with most people amongst the street gangs.
Hayden is being surrounded by a thin cloud of disgust that is radiating as he looks at the various activities going on or solicitations that are encouraged in this part of town. He's usually a quiet, sort of judgy kind of person, being a priest, and he just is radiating judgy just a little bit more. Also,
not to be rude there, Payden, but you might want to tone down the scorn a little bit, because there are people around here who will just knife you for the insult. Just I know it's part of who and what you represent, but all right, Margie, they will just kill you.
Whereas Cato is literally just walking down the street like John Mulaney, like running for mayor of everything. Where he was like, "Hey, how you doing? Are you doing all right? Oh, that's great."
Where you're mostly heading to first is where Barbatos' body was found, where you were told the body was found, which is in a it's just in a block of rooms, which are rented out on a nightly basis, and obviously is where many pimps and prostitutes and rent boys go to with their customer.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty. You head down a very narrow alleyway. You are literally going to have to go in single file to head down there. It is the stench is thick, and eventually come out onto you're able to kind of walk through, and it opens up into a courtyard. And as you look up, there's just story upon story of this building, water dripping down from whatever guttering. There are small little balconies that the windows, the doors open up onto, and you can hear that there is, even for the time of day, it is busy because there are merchants and sailors having their way. Various people enjoying themselves. Obviously, in the courtyard, there's a few grim-looking ruffians and heavies who look at you as you enter.
Oh, I just remembered something. What's the honor code sort of scenario like here? Because am I gonna have to be like, reputation wise, am I gonna have to find the person that killed my guy and have a showdown with them? Is that gonna be kind of an expected thing?
I think that might be something definitely in your honor code as a as effectively because you are kind of a musketeer in that sense.
Yeah.
Hayden's currently a Ronin then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that the
Crap.
laws of the land, what are crimes in Signar? Improper speech is a knight in the stocks. Drunkenness is a knight in the stocks. An assault is a flogging or cloistering. Theft is flogging or cloistering. Burglary is medium to heavy flogging, forced labour, cloistering. Tax evasion, flogging, fines, forced labour, imprisonment. I'm amazed you guys haven't been caught for that. Smuggling.
Has anyone else just got Chris
Heavy
reading all
flogging.
this out in their heads as the guy from Simpsons? That's the paddling. That's the
Yeah.
paddling.
The things that get really bad is if you commit arson, treason, piracy, or murder, where you're like looking at being hung, quartered,
So don't commit piracy while you're out in Corvus of an evening.
or firing squad. You're okay up until about even committing counterfeit of money. You're okay. You're not going to be killed.
Well, but we're here because apparently somebody eviscerated my employer. And
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to find out. Yeah.
And the people
then
that you're with, the
Okay.
because they have a
A
what is it?
license.
They have a license, so they can essentially, within the right circumstances, they can kill.
We can carry out the appropriate criminal punishment for the
Yes,
activities that we're
yeah,
investigating.
indeed.
Well, I imagine also it's also part of these people have become scofflaws or outlaws, and without getting in which case there is no criminal repercussions for anyone going against them because they're outlaws or scofflaws. So.
Also, it's Corvus, and people just vanish sometimes. You know how it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me derail us into that conversation.
So, you know that the body was found on a room on the 5th floor. So some looks are given to to the heavies, and you mostly just head up the steps. It's rickety, and you hear raucous commotion in some of the rooms as you go by, or there's the scream of someone as they run out half dressed, and someone leering out drunkard who feels like they didn't quite get what they paid for. And eventually you get to the room where your master was found dead.
Come to Corvus.
I'm gonna listen to the door first. So I'll nod to my friends and say this is the place, and then I'll listen to it and see if it sounds like it's currently occupied.
No one's in there. And you realise that the door is unlocked.
Does the door bear any sign of being forced or kicked in or splinters broken, anything
There
like that?
is some splintering on the door and on the door frame. It looks like it's been, the door has been wrenched off off the lock.
Okay. I'll point that out to my colleagues.
Chris, in this sort of side of town, would a gang own this house? That they
Oh
then
yeah, a gang
lease
would
and rent
most
out?
probably. Someone is definitely leasing it out, and if it isn't a gang, it will be someone that clearly pays for protection.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so there's going to be somebody in charge to ask about what happened
Yeah.
as well. But we want to look in before they have time to come in.
So I'm gonna pull out my gun just because being prudent. And then just kind of nod to everyone else and just put you said the door was off its frame, correct? But it's still standing up.
No, it's on the frame. It would have been where the door lock is. That's been splintered apart. So
The handle's been sort of kicked away,
Yeah.
so it was probably locked, and it's come away from the handle.
and it's not like it's been kicked in. It looks like it's been somehow broken with some edged weapon or
Then
weapons.
I'm definitely gonna have my gun out, ready to go, and then not to be too dramatic about it, but I'm just gonna push the door open.
the door creaks open. There is a rather dirty bunk in the one corner. There's a table, chair. There's the tall windows that open up onto the bay windows that open up onto the balcony, and you realise that the floor has got some very heavy blood stains upon it, and there's also some spray of blood up the wall.
Chris, based on the blood splatter there's come off what would clearly be the body, can we get a vague idea of the outline? So the size of something that was interrupting it, because this, from the sounds of it, this may have been quite a big creature. So how much of that wall isn't covered? Because if this guy had literally had half of his body torn in half,
I think you're going to have to make a intelligence plus detection roll.
That works for me. Because Bragg is the brains and the brawn of this outfit. Okay, so +5 to this.
That's good
And
because.
that's... Oh, God.
Oh, I'm just saying I don't even have investigation on my character sheet, so that's good. I'm glad somebody here can roll it.
Well, yeah, I've got detection.
Because detection's the skill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
detection. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so with +5, that is 13.
Okay. Now, Bragg, your understanding of how blood gets released from people due to heavy injuries comes from your time when you were in the army
Colonel.
corvus.
Yeah, I was a colonel.
Yeah, you definitely.
Bragg's a colonel. Bragg had command. He's a military officer.
He wouldn't be a colonel. He was at least a sergeant.
If he's an officer, more like a captain or something. I thought.
Yeah, captain at most. But from what you can tell, the blood sprays. There's the blood which is on the floor, which pulled out.
Yep.
And then the other spray is what you would describe as arterial.
Yep.
That doesn't match coming from that came from another body, another person.
All right. Huh. Well, that's curious.
What's
That's
that
a lot
Bragg?
of blood.
A lot of blood, but not the right sort of blood. He either weren't killed here, or he were killed. Well, potentially, he was dumped here, but he wasn't killed here, because see that there, all that. That's from an artery. That's high pressure, and that don't match that. So it might be that he was dumped here, but.
Maybe he managed to stab his assailant before he died.
No, because if he'd been eviscerated here, or if he'd been done for here, stabbed, shot, and they hit an artery, there would be just blood everywhere. There'd be blood on the attacker. There'd be blood on the walls. There'd be blood on the floor. Yeah, there'd be blood everywhere. That don't match the pools.
What's
So
everyone's
we need
passive perception?
a number on our character sheet.
Yeah. You
There's
should
a
have
passive perception.
I think there's a
don't know.
passive.
There's just your perception stat, I guess. There
Yeah.
isn't a passive one, I don't think.
That would be a 4.
I think
be
it's a passive detection roll. Yeah, your passive
Oh.
detect.
Detect is a 5.
Yeah.
Detect is a 5.
3.
Okay. Okay, let me just check.
Ben personally loves this game because my primary degree is forensic science. So I'm just here like constantly like, I know all these things. I know all these things. How can I put them into Bragg's brain?
I try to intentionally play lower intelligence characters
Okay,
so that I don't have to be the one that thinks up those things. Like I hit it.
you hear the click of a pistol being cocked behind you.
Oh, Snapple.
Frag will just turn around.
You see a woman dressed in a long coat, breeches, and shirt, with a bowler hat on, and she's about middle-aged ish, and yeah, her hair's tied back in a ponytail, and she has a patch over the one eye. You're here about the body.
Aye, that we are, miss.
So you're going to tell me where one of my girls has gone missing, then?
No,
Told you there was two.
Nope. We don't know where anyone else is. We're here because one of the lads' bosses was murdered. Don't know nothing about a girl going missing, but that would make sense from what we're seeing
Yes,
here.
yes, yes. Well, your employer came here with one of my girls looking for some fun, and then I come back here and I see him dead on the ground and her missing. So I want to know where she is.
Well, I think you have grossly misunderestimated the term here of employee, because I work for him at the moment, and I'll sort of lean a little bit out of the way so she can see behind Bragg into the room at Payden, and then I'll lean back again so she's got no line of sight on the people behind me.
Okay.
So I work for him, and he worked for the dead guy. Now, we don't know nothing about your missing girl, but I'm sort of known around these parts. I'm sure you've heard of Fragget Bragg. So, you also know that I don't particularly like anyone who hurts women. So, I'm more than happy to go looking for your missing woman too. However, need to know everything you can tell me about what happened when you found him. Or anything that might have got heard, or you know what it's like. Everyone hears everything around here.
All I know is that this seems to be the third case of a working girl or boy having gone missing in the last week in these parts.
Third case.
Was it always with the death of their customer at the same time?
No, this seems to have been... If what you're saying is true, then it seems like whoever really is behind all of this wasn't expecting to meet your now dead master and dealt with him swiftly. He was in a pretty poor condition when I walked in on the room. You can see the door, something ripped it open almost, and your employer was, well, to put it bluntly, some of his guts were on the floor.
Bloody hell. Alright.
So whatever happened quickly and brutally.
What time did you find him?
This would be 2:00 in the morning.
Do you know what time he got here?
Oh yes, I know when he came. I watched them leave the bar at about 1. It seems he at least got half of what he paid for.
Well, I mean, in this case, he probably had quite a lot of time to talk for the next 59 minutes, I'm sure.
He seemed to be quite the talker.
They always are.
Yes.
Alright, so he was the loquacious type. Fine.
Where was he talking? In here or downstairs?
Oh, he was talking here and talking a fair bit in the pub when he picked up my my poor dear who's now missing. Yes, Josephine has not been seen since, you see.
I'm sorry for your inconvenience. I hope that we
She
can find
she
her.
was she was good at what she did.
Are they all being your girls and lads?
No,
who got
no,
missing?
no. There seems to be been a number who've gone missing, and a few turning up dead.
So I'd like to fish out 2 gold florins, or what are gold coins, whatever they are.
It'll be crowns, yeah.
Crowns. And I don't know what the approximate. I'm guessing as a priest who doesn't know these things anyways. But I'm going to offer her these coins and say, to cover the mess and what you
Oh.
might have lost this day.
You're very kind. I wasn't expecting to have part of her salary paid for.
If we can find her, we will. But anything you can tell us about who he might have talked to or who might have seen him come upstairs with her would help us.
I think your best bet is perhaps to head back down to one of the nearby inns and speak around there. That's where there's a nearby inn which is where he picked her up and headed here. There's not much else I can say. As for the others that have gone missing, I did say that 1 or 2 have turned up dead near the docks.
Which docks?
Just north of here.
Don't suppose you know if they'd been found in the water or outside of it.
They've been found. They've been found not in the water, but on the waterfront.
Right. Okay. Well,
Of course, given their nature, given their business and the manner in which they've been killed, not many of the City Watch have
yeah,
paid very
failed
little
to-
interest to this matter.
failed to take it seriously.
Yes.
Well, as I said, my name's Frankit Bragg. Most of the layabouts and lads, some of the women, will know where to get message to me, mine. If
been
you
a
hear more, let us know.
Pleasure meeting you, Mr. Bragg.
And you, miss.
She puts away her pistol and walks off.
Okay. Is there anything else in this room? I'll look to my colleagues, especially Bragg here, and say, do you notice anything else we need to worry about?
I kind of want to give the room a once over, like just looking at the bed
Yeah.
sheets and everything.
Yeah, go on then. Yep.
I need me to make a detection roll.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, can I roll dice?
Yeah, you can roll intelligence plus detection if you have it.
Ooh.
Or
I
just
suggest,
straight
I suggest
intelligence.
perception
Oh,
rather than intelligence. Given
yeah,
it's a
sorry,
perception
yeah.
stat.
I'm at 15.
Nice.
It's 2d6, right?
that's right, yep.
I have 11.
11. Okay. Let's think. You find a dumped in the sheets on the bed. Yeah, it's a mess. But one of the sheets looks like it was used to clean whatever weapon was used, or clean the hands or whatever, or claw or whatever was used to murder your patron and the call girl. And Kato, you look at the sheet a little bit more closely at this cloth. There's some residue on it as well as blood. It's almost a dark green kind of color. Also, a lot stickier than blood.
That's weird. I carry a knife, I would presume.
Yeah.
So I want to try to cut out like part of the sheet. I'm not gonna drag the whole sheet with me, but I want to drag the part that's the green sticky part on it.
Yeah.
And of course I show everyone else, and I'm like, I'm not gonna touch it because gross. But
I wouldn't be touching that with your hands, mate. That's sticky green residue on a whore's bed sheets. Let's just,
God.
yeah, I'm not. But it is interesting because I've never encountered this before on bed sheets. It's probably whoever it was spilled something on accident, so I was curious what it is.
I just checked my character sheet and saw that I have a good amount of medicine as a skill.
Oh, that's
Is that
useful.
something? Yeah, is that useful for any of the?
That'll
the stuff we're
that's
doing?
useful for investigating dead bodies.
Yeah. So I have a +6 to my medicine.
Wow. Yeah, that's
So-
really good for investigating
Dang.
dead bodies.
Figured it would be appropriate for a duelist to know exactly where to stab people
Yeah, and to stitch up wounds and
and
yeah.
to stitch up wounds. Yeah. So okay.
Cool. Okay. Well, with that clue that you have, where are you guys going to head to next?
I
Bargeman
think-
sucker.
No, you're gonna head. Yeah,
Oh, this-
you're gonna head to the pub to have a nice lunch.
Well, it means we can also let everyone know what we found.
Yeah,
so
we
should-
far and then
yeah,
move
exactly. Bring everybody back together, and then
Yeah.
we can go to the next steps and
Okay,
get going.
so momentarily then you set off, and then half an hour later you are all sat with steaming plates of grub, which will consist
Fish
of
stew.
yeah, fish is definitely
Eels.
going to be jellied eel is
Ew.
definitely
Jellied
there.
eels.
There is plates of poached fish, and also pints of ale. It's a very nice warm pub. I'm going to say it's the equivalent to a Brauhaus in Germany back in the day. So it's going to have almost kind of a hunting lodge feel to it inside. It's warm as well. You're able to definitely dry yourselves out quite happily there.
Warm up from being in the morgue.
Yeah, as you are feasting on this food.
And it please be
Why?
dark beer because I'm tired of having to drink pilsners, and so I like my fantasy game to have dark bill.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
The
One of
darkest
these,
beer.
one of these days, Bessie, I'm gonna marry you to make an honest woman out of you. Best food imaginable.
Yes, so speaking of food, our poor victim had his abdomen just sort of opened up like a door. Real rip, great force behind it, but also extremely sharp. Not the sharp of a standard weapon, more like, I imagine, perhaps claws, but it's hard to tell exactly how he had his body kind of scooped open of the abdomen like that.
Chris, having seen the damage on the door, not the wound, but the damage on the door, the sizing of that, is that Bragg's hand bigger than Bragg's hand? You know, if Bragg had claws like, for example, dire trolls do, would that be?
No, it's not. It's nowhere near that big.
Yeah,
It's
well,
more
I-
like human-sized.
I think our group has a standard measurement of number of
Bragg
brag
hands.
hands.
Yeah,
so,
Bragg's hands.
So okay, we had 3 brag hands for the abdomen damage. How many brag hands on the door?
Half a Bragg hand. From the sounds of it.
Half a brag hand. Oh, okay, that's
The,
pretty
the
small.
damage to the body could have been inflicted by a small implement, but with immense force. I mean, really powerful. But I think it was something larger. It wasn't really a careful, clever wound. It was something very sharp applied with extreme force to just sort of, pop the chap open.
Well,
This
at
is
the whole
disappointing.
house, there was
Enjoy the fish.
Bragg is like just eating.
Yeah,
completely
all of
on-
us are accustomed to seeing
Hell,
body parts. and
Three
things
of
like-
us are military men, so this is just like just no fucks given the entire time.
Now, the other thing, obviously, is that he was carrying a small bloody fortune on him. And it was still on him when the body was recovered.
Yeah, we found out that it probably wasn't about him at all. A madam in the red light district has informed us that a bunch of working people have been going missing. Some of them been found dead down by the docks. The room itself, though, I mean, it didn't add up. There was definitely the sign of multiple wounds. So either he hurt the other person, or the person who killed him also did for his woman of the night.
But then why leave him and take the working girl?
It weren't about him. It were about the working girl.
So why take? So you say, is this some sort of? I mean, obviously, people who won't be missed are always the obvious target for folks, really.
It feels more callous than that. Actually, it feels like he was victim of circumstance. It feels targeted. Like whoever this person is, they're going after working girls, but they don't care about killing important people, because this would attract attention. The working girls wouldn't bother no one, but this is a merchant. Merchants don't get killed.
Seems a bit strange. I mean, remember when we were at Highgate investigating the supposed bandits? They were taking anyone and everyone. Leaving this rich body here and just taking,
the end goal obviously isn't money. Possibly, I mean, and given the wound itself, I'm inclined to think it's something that doesn't think much of money in the first place.
Well, we've got one other clue that stands out. I pull out the bed sheet that I've cut the square off of, and it's this green, almost sticky like goo that's on here, and I have no idea what it is. And before we make any jokes, I know what else has been on this sheet. This is in addition to that. So wear your gloves, gentlemen. And I hand the sheet around.
Gloves. I'm going to take a sniff because I don't really want to, but here we go. What does this stuff smell of? Does it smell acrid, acidic?
It smells fishy.
Fishy. It might be something from the... Yes, say the jokes. I wonder if there's something from the water being used to kill them then. I don't really know much about water-going creatures, though.
You can make the appropriate intelligence roll. Let's just go through the list of possible things.
Law arcane or law thamarite?
That's not gonna help.
Bragg.
Yep.
I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but do Gatormen bleed green?
More like a dark blue.
Okay, so it's not a Gatorman then. Okay.
Does anyone
wanted
have
to make sure.
anything to do with forensic science, alchemy, or...
No one has forensic science. None of us can have forensic science. We can't have forensic science for a
Lots
long
of medicine.
time.
There is literally one class in this entire game that gets it.
Um,
And interestingly, even though we are an investigative group, we don't get the option to take that skill, even though we're investigators.
Does anyone have anything like any knowledge of... So if anyone's got just make the appropriate intelligence roll then for this.
Right. I will burn a feat point then, because I have reasonably good...
All right, got this.
Brains?
I got this.
Holy shit. That is 21.
Oh wow, that's really good.
You
That is
guys,
with a burning a feat point, though, so...
I have 10.
Okay.
Total.
I have also
you
10.
realise what it is, and that's partly because you have a new piece of property in your for your company. This is hydraulic fluid.
I'm gonna get to fight one at last.
So take the sniff, look at it, think over the where there's the shed we've hired to stick our warjack in and all the work and stuff like that. And this is hydraulic fluid. It's hydraulics. It's
Mechanica.
You'd think
mechanica of some sort.
The hell?
you
You're
would probably
telling me.
notice.
Would a warjack
mech.
fit inside?
A warjack wouldn't get up the steps. The build, if one of those old tenement blocks, they wouldn't hold the weight.
Destroy it, yeah. All
But
right.
somebody carrying something. Now, I was wondering how somebody would be getting in that room without anyone noticing it, with enough force of something sharp to rip someone's cage off. Mechanica enhanced arms, for example, some sort of framework that could do it.
Or just spitballing here. We all know that they've been messing around with some dark options.
I shoot a glance at Payden, employer. Well, perhaps yes.
What if they built themselves a new type of body? Something smaller, lighter, but plenty powerful.
Well, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I would wonder why someone was going to the lengths of all that to murder working girls, though.
I don't think they're murdering them. I think they're taking them. Again,
Like Bowden.
yep. I think this is coming all back.
Well, let's not jump to too many because it is entirely possible you are correct, but we do not have evidence for that. What we have evidence for is a mechanica-assisted murderer or abductor, and that's perhaps the point we should hold at for a moment.
I haven't seen much in the way of mechanica in my own experience, but I would imagine such a thing would be difficult to conceal.
It would be. It would
Yeah.
be.
Yes,
Hey,
but on the other hand, there's a lot of people with overcoats and like around here who do not look, all that healthy. People with it wouldn't be.
Well, we know where he picked up this lady,
Mhm.
and apparently he, as he was known to do, talked entirely too much while he was there.
yeah.
And so,
So you think he just ran down the clock and was there at the wrong time?
I don't think no, because he paid for 2 hours.
Zacharias, what are you?
Well, I just how do you feel about the Order of Illumination? I know you're a follower of Menoth and all of that. Just curious, like
The Morrowan hunters of witches and devilry.
yeah.
I out of character. I have no idea.
Okay. Let's
So
get an explanation from Chris then.
Yeah.
Ye-
Just,
okay, so
just be a quick.
So as Chris said, the Order of Illumination is a holy order of the Church of Morrow, and they are church-sanctioned witch hunters and exorcists. So, as a Menite, I don't think you'd have much problem with them conceptually, because other than they are followers of Morrow, who to you is a lesser god than Menoth.
Yeah.
But that's like saying, that would be like saying, do Jewish priests have problems with Catholic
Inquisition.
inquisitors or
I
witch
got an answer
hunters?
for you.
Under some circumstances.
Okay.
Under some circumstances, yes.
Back in character.
Acting character.
How do you feel about the Order of Illumination?
I think that generally speaking, you should look after your community and take care of your neighbors. And that if you decide that it's really important for you to go out and burn people you don't agree with, then you probably need to be paying closer attention to your own family.
Listen, no one's burning anyone. I'll tell you that much.
Finch
but-
looks genuinely surprised at that comment from Menite as well. He was expecting the Fellfire and Brimstone speech.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
pretty progressive.
The
I wonder
fire and
Kato hangs
brimstone
out with them.
comes. The fire and brimstone comes when people who are in the community break rules that they're supposed to be keeping.
I like this
But
one.
you point the flamethrowers at your own people. It's when you point them at other people you get in trouble.
Unacceptable.
Okay. Well, I think we should probably fill you in on some things that have been going on, because it seems like we might be dealing with some issues that have been cropping up lately. So it all started when we accidentally worked for some Thamarites. We're just gonna gloss over that real quick. But then we went down to Highgate. We're investigating some bandits and maybe a necromancer.
On behalf of the Order of Illumination, they hired us.
Indeed. Yeah, they conscripted us, really. It was a bit of arm twisting, but we worked for them. And there seems like there's been a lot of investigation by some sort of I think they're backed by a Kadoran, and they are experimenting with necrotech. That's right.
Obviously, the Order of Illumination have been very concerned about this, which is why they've been
Death
throwing
technology.
resources like us at it.
I know the Menites down in that whatever theocracy they have down there. They don't like necrotech either.
I think anyone right thinking does not like necrotech.
No, of course not. I mean, you'd have to be a crazy Thamarite to have any kind of interest in that. Now, It's possible because we're seeing this fluid and maybe some sort of a warjack human hybrid kind of situation. We could be dealing with that. Maybe not. Maybe it's completely unrelated, but they do have a modus operandi of stealing people for experimentation.
That's not okay.
No, it is not okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, team. Do we need to tell Father Dumas about this? Should we do more
I
investigation?
think we need a little bit more investigation. If we go to Father Dumas and say we found evidence of mechanic being used to murder people, he's probably going to look at us and go, well, there's any number of things it could be. I think we need a little bit more to show him. I think it's worth progressing warily with the possibility that it's our some tangled thread of this mess that we've gotten ourselves embroiled in previously.
Indeed.
But let's sort of proceed with accumulate a little bit more to show before we tell the Church of Morrow that we found more renegade necromancy.
Indeed.
That's
Alright.
the best option.
Well,
on a
we need to
personal
go to the northern docks.
I would think it would be hilarious for somebody of my cloth to go to this Order of Illumination and say, by the way, I solved one of your problems for you. Have a nice afternoon.
You know, frankly,
That'd
I
just be a
delight in it.
personal chuff. But
I delight in it as well. They've really been. Listen, before we met you, we thought they sent one of their guys to meet with us. Apparently, he was also a crazy necromancer Thamorite. So really,
He wasn't. There's no proof he was a Thamorite.
They're not batting average. Where they play
He was
here in Signar. The
merely
cricket average
working
is
for
just terrible.
Samurai.
Look, we don't even know if he was working. I think we are going overboard on the Thamorite side of things here. There was one Thamorite, right?
so far.
So far.
Right.
So
Yeah,
should we go to
don't
the
know
tavern
other
and
Samurites personally?
should we go to the other bar and see if we can find out who he was talking to or find a lead on this undead claw wielding working person murderer?
Yeah, we're gonna.
I
have to
think
find
Bragg's idea was probably the first port of call.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we'll find anything inside the actual bar because it seems like whoever was there was not expecting to kill him as well. They were after the girl. They burst in. If they'd been watching the entire time, they would have just continued to wait to take the girl once he left.
Oh, so if they'd followed them out of the bar, then they would have known that she was with somebody. Okay.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
It might be worth finding out if anyone saw anything on the way back anyway, just in case they saw someone skulking around or whatever. But
But you're thinking the docks to find where the girls have been being left.
yeah.
If that madam told you where the body's been dumped, if we have a look around there, we might see something, even if it's just more of this hydraulic fluid leaking around the place.
You also might be able to
Caveat that
ask
it's
around.
docks, so there might be a lot of hydraulic fluid around for the cranes and jacks and things.
Well, we can also just ask around to see if anyone actually saw either a bulky person going off with people or, there's always someone watching in the city. Always
Did anybody
someone.
dump a body here recently?
You'd be surprised at how
Yeah.
effective that question can be to the right people.
Pretty much.
Especially if you ask with a bag of glass.
Or a bag of coins.
We're gonna rub a bag of coins into their face.
Yeah.
Well,
What are you on about coins? You beat someone with a bag of coins. That's not going to help.
I'm saying you pay them.
Oh, bribes around here.
I don't want
Yes.
us to get that kind of a reputation. Then never
Yeah.
asking for a handout.
Yeah,
It's not gonna
Finch,
work. I like
Finch.
the way Bragg does it.
What are you on about? Bag of coins around here.
Not a bag of, not like a big, a small
Every
amount of coins.
every
Increase
cunt
people's
in the
palms.
world, every cunt in the world will see something if you're offering them money. Everyone who has not seen something will be asking you for a bag of money if they think that you're giving it out. But if you're giving a bag of glass, trust me when I tell you, they are very quick to inform you of exactly what happened.
It works fine for me, certainly.
Right.
All right.
So you're heading
To the
down
docks.
to the dock side. Okay. You set off with a belly full of food, and the rain has abated somewhat. It's only a light drizzle now, and you are
Spring.
walking. You are walking along the docks, along the creaking planks. There are steam jacks at work, hauling cargo on and off of boats, belching smoke from their boilers, and you eventually get to where having asked around a little, where the city watch has basically been finding these victims of these working girls and rent boys. You clamber down, and essentially, you've clambered down. There's the stone wall of the dock side, and you are, ankle. In some areas, it's ankle deep of the actual river water, but other areas, the bank is clear and well, not water. It's waterlogged, but it's not around your feet. And you also, along here, of course, there are outflow pipes from various of the factories that work in this area. They are pumping out sewage and various waste from their alchemical workings.
How big a pipe are we talking? We're talking like small ones.
Oh yeah,
We're talking,
these
like,
some
big
pretty
if they can
small.
fit a body.
Some are large enough for a person, even of Bragg's size, to walk in. Maybe you have to hunch over a bit, but
I'm used to it.
there's grey water trickling out. It's great. There is also water in some places that is almost luminous in colour because of whatever filth that is being dumped into the rivers.
The wonderful marks of modern progress.
Yeah.
I think my uncle's cannery outflow comes out somewhere near here, actually. Whichever one has the most little bits of eel in it.
And as you're walking along, you see wrapped up in like I would say not seaweed, but a weed that grows in the water there. Mostly grows too much due to the pollutants that are pumped out into the river. You spot a body.
Abundance of food.
Oh, the absolute Moro fuckers. There they are. Look, down there. Is it out? Is it out of the water, basically? Is it
It's half out of the water, yeah.
He's gonna go get it.
Yep.
You
Will help to retrieve body.
you quickly jog over to the body and pull it out of the water fully. And it's a man, and looks rather dishevelled, still clothes upon it. Though, I mean, the best way to describe this person is perhaps vagrant, homeless, or maybe some sort of, traveller who was looking for work in the city. But there's nothing that marks him out as being, well off.
Say an appropriate prayer under my breath as we're dragging this person out.
Yeah, of course. God, that's something I really need to push. Like, I need to get entire things that Morrowans and Menite holy verses, they would say. Anyway, but yeah, you can all make the appropriate intelligence and medicine roll, or intelligence and detection roll.
A 17.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I got
15.
a pair of sixes.
Wow. Oh, you get a feat point back if you didn't have one.
I have not spent any yet.
Okay.
I'm at 12.
Not so good for you.
14.
Not so good for Mike.
15.
Oh, fair.
That's pretty good for the medicine roll. And Finch?
12.
12, okay. So, Bragg, you even one-handed, you literally just drag the body out, wrenching it up by its clothing, pull it out onto the shoreline, and the most obvious thing to you is the top of the skull's been removed.
Surgically, or it's just the head's been crushed or pulled off?
Oh, something's sliced the top of the skull off.
All right.
Well, that's probably the same as scooped out our man's chest.
I'm not
And
sure. That seems surgical rather than.
Payden, you are able to, very
Sort
Ichabod
of
Crane
bones.
kind of style, I guess. You kneel down, you mostly take out from your boot your knife, and you start just prodding around a little bit. You've looked at numerous injuries before. What's clear to you is that something like a bone saw has been used to take away the top of the skull, or some similar type instrument, and this was done post-mortem.
I will share this information with my
There's
colleagues.
more, though. You begin to examine the rest of the body. On the shoulder to neck, there are, again, what look like claw marks. But they're too clean and too regular.
These are more marks like the ones that were on Thomas.
On the door frame, yeah.
On the door frame, yeah.
And then finally, the way the wounds, it suggests that it was onto the shoulder, that this was performed from behind in a single strike, and really was aiming for the neck but also the throat. So there's a lot of blood loss, and which explains why there's not much blood flow from the removal of the scalp.
Chris, the actual the wound pattern itself, is it torn, i.e. something sharp but only sharp on a point, punctured and then tore, or is it sliced as if maybe someone had attached scalpels?
It is the
to a
latter.
hand? Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought.
There are no
So,
signs of any wounds of struggle or bruising.
So it was a complete surprise that when did they hit the jugular by
Yeah.
chance? Did they, yeah. So basically they went for surprise. They've probably got some anatomical training or understanding, and they took this guy probably before he was even aware that they were there.
Yep.
That certainly sounds about right. It would also explain the sheer brutality of the strike to our other victim, who obviously was not expected to be there. It's not the same kind of practiced quiet murder. That seems to have been a brute force attempt to kill him as quickly as possible, I would imagine, on the scene.
Or as violently in retaliation, because
Possibly.
there was that wound trail, and if we consider that your Thomas might have nicked something on their that whatever they're using to do this, because if you look at that looks like someone just had knives attached to a hand. You know, that's not a claw punctures then tears. That's a cut. That's a smooth line. That means that when Thomas struck back, he might have wounded them, but he also might have damaged whatever they were using, which would be how you get that droplet right there, on the bed.
Hey, Chris. Was Thomas the sort of person to scream and hide under the bed sheets, or would he have tried to defend himself?
He would have tried to defend himself, of course. Yeah.
He ignored your advice and went out of an evening. He may have been dumb, but he also presumably had a certain amount of bravado about him, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Had cojones, that's for sure. He had the balls for it.
Braggadocious.
Oh yeah.
So he's there with a prostitute. Something smashes in. He's not expecting to be there. He gets in the way, probably.
Maybe
Thinks he's going to
hurts it.
struggle. Thinks he's about to have a heroic struggle with the attacker. It pops his front open with one of that. It just sinks in, rips. The claws would explain why it cut the bone so easily in his abdomen, and just pops him open. Tosses him aside to die because, frankly, with the amount of him opened up to the outside, nothing else was going to happen out of that. Takes the girl and leaves.
But more
Is the
interestingly,
brain still in the cranium?
Oh, that's a good question. And Hayden, you rolled high enough to know this, so yeah. The brain looks like it is also had incisions upon it.
No, it looks like they tried cutting into his brain. I don't know. I'm not if they took parts out or not. I can't quite tell, but they were digging into it a little bit.
Bragg, you said he was dead when that was his head was cut open.
that's post mortem. So they killed this guy,
With the claws on the shoulder. Yeah.
took him somewhere,
There are
performed
schools.
medical attention.
There are
Yeah,
schools of no. There are schools of not because everything. There are schools of forbidden learning. There are things that some people try to do to bodies via the brain. You see, as we've encountered before, and I'm sorry to this is rather dark matters, Payden. I'm so sorry to put this on you. We've encountered thrall crafting. We've encountered the traditional forms of necromancy. That's not the only way that people attempt to, shall we say, violate the sanctity of corpses. They may be experimenting on. If you want to, this doesn't have the hallmarks of a grave digger killing people to sell the bodies on to down and dirty. It's not medical students doing this, which means they have a purpose. Much like our friend Bowden was herding up villagers, this is being done with a purpose in mind. And there are things that I have heard of that people try to do with bodies via the brain, whether it is for. I don't know if it's possible, but certainly people try to jam wires and such like inside people's skulls and then ram enough electricity in them to see what happens, see if you can get something moving and kicking again.
Chris, looking around where the incisions have been made into the brain, I don't suppose there's any residue or anything like that that's been left inside the actual grey matter.
No.
No.
I can't really tell from the damage done here, but it's certainly possible that someone's doing something like that. The other option is they are a necromancer attempting to extract some sort of necrotic material directly from the brain for some vile and evil ritual.
What about?
But there are easier ways to get people's brains for that. To be honest,
Peyton, go ahead. You have unique knowledge of these kinds of things.
I was just going to ask if there was a large friendly sign on the pipe where we found this body that says where it was draining out of. Or some other indication of where it might have washed down from.
No, but you could, by all means, try and go through the sewers and figure out where.
I'm brand new to Corvus, and so I'm going to rely on people who know the world a little bit better to...
Was he in the... So what tide are we currently on, Chris?
Oh, you're on low tide, yeah.
Right. So... presumably then he didn't wash up on the shore from being dumped on the river anywhere. He had to be either put here, because otherwise he would have been taken out as part of low tide, or he came out of the sewers.
Yeah.
Any sign of, other than our own footprints, which are Bragg doesn't wear shoes because he's a troll, so they're fairly obvious, and these guys, we can see where we've walked. Any sign of any other footprints leading up to this point?
No, and
No.
It'd be pretty difficult on this ground. It's so waterlogged. I don't think footprints would last too long with all the other motion of water going on. And
well, it depends, because if it's low tide, that would remain up until it came back to high tide again.
True.
So that's what I was thinking, because if someone dumped him here recently and presumably
there's no
given the fact that
footprints.
nothing is eaten at him, it must be quite recent. All right, so odds are that he probably came out of one of those pipes, because it's the wrong tide for him to. If he was further up, he might have got dragged down to the waterline. Whereas if he'd been in the water, well, for one, he'd have the smell of the river on him, which he doesn't have, and for two, he would have been out. He would have been actually in the river. He would have washed out of here. So, I guess which are the nearest pipes to this sort of Chris that could fit a body?
There's at least 2, if not 3.
All right. I suggest then that we go into each of these pipes no more than, let's say, oh, Zach, yeah, I can see your smile already, my friend. I would suggest that we look into each of these I just realized that you are never going to get that white clean again, are you?
I might have to go change everyone.
Well, you say that, but I'm pretty sure I've got a potato sack in here somewhere. What was that?
It's fine. I've got another set of clothes. It's okay.
Okay, right. I suggest that before we actually go investigating the sewers, we look into each of these pipes, maybe for like, 10, 15 meters into each of these pipes, and see if we can find out if he dropped or anything fell off him, like a boot or, something that will tell us which of these pipes we need to go down. And then we come back when it's high tide, because by that point we can, get in there nice and easy and follow it to where we go.
I mean, Bragg, if we're not going in that far, I mean, we don't need everyone to go in, right? So, I mean, maybe you just go.
I don't know. More eyes would help us better. I mean, you have keen insight too.
And also, Zach, you say that, but we both know that you are a world-class investigator and spy, which means that you have a particular insight and awareness that I, a humble military officer and beatstick, cannot hope to replicate.
Listen, fine. Just guys,
I'll tell you what. I'll do you a favor.
No, listen, Bragg, I gotta go change in the alley. You guys just keep a lookout. Make sure no one wanders down here while I'm, taking off my stockings.
I was gonna say I'll do you a favor and you can wear my coat, but sure, I'll wait while you get half naked in the drizzle.
Sicarius gets half naked in the drizzle. He comes out looking pretty filthy.
Interesting group of people you've landed in here, Kato.
Oh, they're the best. And Zinfandel over there, he really does have like a great eye. And part of me was also hoping we could investigate these tunnels before he got back, just so that he would have changed for no reason.
I mean, you can go for it. Make a roll. Let's see if that happens.
We're a friendly bunch. We like to have fun.
Right then.
Also,
And with that, all right then, and then he'll draw his sword and start down one of the tunnels.
you should absolutely ask Zach about his father and the Navy. Great story.
Yes, I'd advise you don't. He's not back yet. Good. Yes, just don't ask him about the Lely's Navy, please.
Oh, hey guys,
Please.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh, hello,
Yeah.
Zach. Yes,
Looking,
we were just about to start down these
Yeah,
tunnels.
I had some spare clothes in my bag. You never know when you need to wear
Is that your
Fit in with the
homelessness
locals.
person costume that you're wearing again?
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm in a burlap sack. There's an onion tied to my belt.
Is that what they wear in the Lily's Navy?
No.
Ito,
No,
get
this
on
is
your
not.
boat and sail it down that tunnel.
All right, let's go, everyone. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Right.
Time to go poking pipes.
Okay.
Because of how narrow these are, we probably want the people who have access to guns at the front for once, simply by dint of the fact that anything that's going to be running at us, you're not going to be able to shoot past Rag to hit them. So we probably want people with guns at the front, and then I don't know. I'll try and wall climb
So
around you. I
this
guess.
may sound like a stupid question, right? But how many people have actual sources of light?
I do. I have a lantern.
Okay, good. Right. Okay, I'm just checking.
I will dramatic. I'll do something dramatic because it's almost time, I think, and it'll be fun. So I will spend a fate point to wave my hand across my sword, and the sword will ignite.
Bloody hell!
You don't need to spend feat points to do that, I don't think. Unless is it a special power? Is it a spell?
I have the feat quick cast.
Oh right. Oh okay, yeah.
So I may spend a fate point to cast an upkept spell, and it just happens, and
Yeah.
So
You can cast it at normal speed as well if you want, but it looks cooler if you just snap your fingers.
it looks cooler if I snap my fingers. And so that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
So it is the ignite spell, which is kept up. It gives me +2 on attack rolls, and I set things on fire when I hit them.
Excellent.
Can you cast that on other people?
Yep.
Can you cast that on my fists?
Knuckles, but the brass knuckles probably, but it would probably hurt because
You'll be on fire.
you'll be on fire.
I'm a troll. That's fine.
Listen, we can experiment with this later when we're not in.
We are
Super.
going to experiment with this later.
All right. So, flaming sword in hand, heading down into the methane-soaked sewer pipes, hoping not to explode. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Not great.
We're not recreating the woof up, okay? We're not having another situation where I'm in a tunnel with a fire wielder and things go pop. I've already lived that life.
Yeah. Okay, so you set off down the sewer pipe, illuminated with this flaming sword and a lantern.
And people's lanterns, I think. Yeah.
And you're trudging along, and the sewer water is maybe again ankle deep. Every so often it surges a little bit more and it goes almost up to your knees, and there is a mixture of like fish bits and filth, and then also it gets quite colourful because clearly someone's dumping stuff out of their alchemical factory, refining factory, or leather workings, or whatnot. You get the idea.
I don't wish to alarm anyone, but I just looked at my toes and one of them's gone white.
It'll grow back, I'm sure.
And as you're heading down this pipe, there's other smaller pipes that it adjoins to that which spill out their waste into it, and then eventually you get to the end of the sewer, and it opens up into a chamber, and you realise that where you are now, you see what you thought was again a few more pipes, but as the gloom is illuminated more and your eyes adjust, this chamber is not actually a chamber. As you begin to look up, you're actually in some part of the sunken part of Corvus. So this is the fact that what is meant to be the sewers in places is actually old streets and passageways through very old buildings that are repurposed every so often when people are brave enough to go underground.
Oh, goodness.
There are still no signs of well, actually, no. You can all make a detection roll, so that'll be perception plus detection, isn't it?
I think so.
Yep.
7.
7!
I could
Lucky
not have rolled
13.
worse.
What
How about a
was the
16?
nice? What was the feat roll that you? What was the feat point expenditure that you could do?
Was with a non-combat skill, you can spend it before you roll. You spend a feat point, and you add an extra die.
Yeah.
Oh, an extra die. Okay, I'll do that.
I rolled a double one and got 7. So Alander is basically trying to figure out where he is from his jaunts to the underground parts of the city to deal with Thamarites.
You're mostly having
before.
also a hard
Where
time
am
keeping
I?
your lunch down.
It's foul down here. Completely
So
turned around.
with the feat point spend, that's a 17.
Okay. As you're looking about, you see a on what would have been an old sidewalk. Actually, this would be what would have been a street. You see a small piece of card that looks quite relatively clean, but also a bit of blood staining on it, but fresh blood.
Is it a card that would match the awful lewd cards that my buddy
No.
had in his pocket? Oh, okay.
Is it the sort of card that someone might put down to sleep on if they're
No,
homeless?
it's a card
Oh.
as an identification card,
Oh, okay.
and you pluck it up, and the name upon it, it says Horatio Bennett, address unknown, and it is stamped, and this is a sign that he of being released and being proclaimed sane, and it is stamped with Corvus Asylum.
Oh, do you think they're targeting outpatients?
They're targeting those I don't think society would miss.
Yes, but think about. I mean, if you wanted a steady feed of people society's not likely to miss, poor outpatients from the asylum is one way to go about it.
Unless he's
Especially
the person who's conducting the experiments.
possible.
Could be.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's probably
possible.
no- there's no-
Possibly
there's no
the killer
photo
is
on
an
it.
asylum member, but
Yeah.
No easy way to tell.
Is this card? So does this just continue straight on, or is this card in front of another?
Oh, there's
offshoot
another
of it?
passageway. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a
Alright,
few
everyone.
passageways you could go down now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think from this point on we go nicely, quietly, and given what we know about the whole knives for hens things, I may want to change my previously offered opinion and put myself forward, because if he tries to do that to me, I can heal it off. Whereas if he does that to one of you guys, I don't much fancy trying to staunch your throats with my
No, I get it.
You head off then
right.
down down that direction, and essentially you're passing. You are passing what look like old shops that have sunk. They've been filled in with dirt or other detritus that's come in. There are rats scurrying around, squeaking, and I'm going to roll this, and everyone can make a detection roll.
15.
15.
13, unlucky for some.
Yeah, well,
16.
You're not surprised as you enter a further, as it opens up into another what would have been an old, what would have been an old warehouse. Again, the ceiling caved in some places. Almost like in other places, the wall has given way as another building has sunk into it, and it's kind of, the structures are collapsing in on themselves. You hear some low, throaty growls around you, and as you cast the light around you, you realise that you are surrounded by these pale-skinned, scaly, reptilian, long-snouted beasts. Their tails thrashing around as they brandish. Well, they're not brandishing anything. There's no weapons. They just have claws and look quite angry or hungry. They are gator men. And we're going to leave it there.
Oh, God!
It's the
Come on,
gator men
guys!
all along.
Come on, guys! Get on my level! Gosh!
There are Gatormen in the sewers.
There are gator men in the sewers. Yep, there is
They're
gator
doing
men in the sewers.
everything.
Everyone basically gets 2 experience points.
Hurrah. Brings us to 13,
Hey!
which is another level, another up.
It is,
thingy.
yeah. We get a
Archetype
thing.
benefit.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
What are
Take
those?
Combat card.
So yeah, if
associated with your. Sorry, Karen.
I was going to just finish up, because I'm sure it'll be interesting. You can tell people what you put your XP into next time in 2 weeks' time. If people have enjoyed this, obviously they can find all previous sessions on our YouTube. Also, please go to Gehenna Gaming and their YouTube. You will find all of our sessions of Wrath and Glory and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, because those campaigns are currently complete for now, and as we have other plans in the works Next weekend is Onyx Path Publishing Con, Onyx Path Con. Are we doing anything for that, Mike?
Yeah, we are. You're one of the players, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
We don't know when it's going to be, but there will be a Dark Eras Hunter the Vigil, Change in the Lost epic crossover game.
Holy
which is going
shit.
to be pretty fun.
Ooh,
That sounds freaking rad.
exciting. Yeah.
Which Dark Era?
It's inspired by this colonial Salem,
Excellent.
Massachusetts setting, but it's my own take on it.
Brilliant. Awesome. So I think you're running it. I'm playing it. Crystal is playing.
Yep.
Ian.
Yep.
And Mark.
We don't know the fourth.
Oh, we
player.
don't know the fourth player.
It's
Oh,
a
wow.
mystery. I had to follow
It's a
up on
mystery. Wow. Cool. Is there anything else? Obviously, if you go over to Darker Days Radio, www.darker-days.org, you can go listen to our most recent episodes. There are review and character creation episodes for Deviant the Renegades. There is also our review and how it inspires us for RPGs, where myself and James talk about Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, because they are kick-ass games. They are great fun. And you can currently buy from Cubicle 7, either directly, you can also pre-order the hard copy, or of course if you want to and it's your favourite place to buy it, you can go over to Drive-Thru RPG as well. You can pick up the PDF to Warhammer Fantasy The Horned Rat, which is the 4th part of the Enemy Within campaign. It replaces Something Rotten in Kislev, because this...
What?
Yeah, that is gone. That's not part of the Enemy Within campaign anymore. That was considered shoehorned in and rushed job back in the day. So this is the true 4th part, which I wrote for.
Really?
So please buy it. It's great fun. And I think that's it. Is there anything else that's been published that's cool? Chris, John, anything out recently from your works?
Only thing for me of note is that I am also going to be at the Onyx PathCon on the Trinity panel, talking about Aberrant and Eon.
Awesome.
Has anything else specific that's come out? No, nothing that's been released of late.
Exalted Essence is currently on Kickstarter.
Exalted Essence is
Check
on
it out.
Kickstarter and is doing very well. It's doing very nicely.
I need to actually read the mechanics for it to see how
it's looking
trimmed
great.
down it is.
Yeah, I haven't read the. I haven't been involved in the playtesting or anything for that either, so I don't know. I'm seeing it as well as anyone else on the Kickstarter, but that's looking really good, and I hope that keeps on chugging away nicely. But no, all my stuff is either in editing or other stages of production, or it's only very early on stages, so I haven't got anything else to shout about at the moment.
Yeah, I'm currently working on stuff as well. Cool. Well, that's it. That's great. Ian, thank you for joining us. I think we've shoehorned your character into the campaign in a really fun way.
I liked it.
I think
same.
I think you're
I'm looking
adding
forward to it.
quite a novel and different take on things to these poor investigators who are actually quite bad at investigations in some respects. But
are.
I'm trying to play the stoic. Almost, it feels like after this session that he's going to be like the quintessential straight man to the joking of the rest of the player party. So I'm looking forward to jokes at my expense and other weird I don't understand references later.
excellent.
So be good. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other thing I could actually say is that's of interest, because I've got it coming in the post soon. Private Press is doing a spring cleaning deal on their website. So it's like, I think it's something like almost $50, and you get a mystery box of $200 of stuff. Now, from what I understand, it is a mystery box, but I think it's all meant to fit the same faction or factions in there. So, you know, it might just be a box of Trollkin stuff, or it might be a box of all, Cadoran stuff or mercenaries.
Oh my gosh, I got 50 bags of Crix tokens. Uh-oh.
It's not going to be.
think
Yeah,
so. They're not
it's
gonna
going to be
do
useful.
They're not gonna do
They've
that,
also they also did an announcement recently to reveal some new stuff, which includes there's some more books coming out for the new Iron Kingdoms RPG for Requiem. And also, I believe they've announced Orgoth are in the works for the war game.
What?
Yeah, seriously.
Something along those lines.
It was at the very bottom of the post. Orgoth are coming. Finally. After, 20 years?
Yeah.
So it is midnight in Berlin, so I'm going to bed.
Of course, yeah, we are going to
Thank you,
go.
everybody.
So goodbye, everyone.
Have a wonderful time.
Easy. And I think that wraps up our session.
Yeah.